Where are we picking up the season for you guys? Your characters.
For our characters, season 4, it's actually a very, very big transition for everybody. And we actually can't go into too much detail, but there is a very, very nice evolution between our relationship that we get to share that has to do with the huge shift that we're taking going to the planet. So that's a nice evolution in our storyline.
Yeah, and also the Rosie crew is like generally, it's kind of the first time you've seen them really as a family, and kind of like settled in who they are and their relation to each other. Everyone's not trying to work out if Naomi's OPA anymore, or like, you know, it's like everyone's settled. Jim and Naomi are really kind of settled into their relationship, and we start off with them really in this kind of like lovely family dynamic that we haven't really seen before actually. So
and we've been through hell and back, and so as a team, as a family, and then as a team, we also are working really well together. So it's an interesting way to start because
you know it's going to go down basically. I was like, this is so nice. What's coming?
I would honestly say that if the stuff that happened in season 4 happened in season 1, we wouldn't have made it. We wouldn't have made it because we were not experienced enough. The characters would not have been working together. Like we have to work like a team, and the 3 years of experience we have really was necessary to get through season 4.
What about your character is on Mars and he's got a family that we sort of kind of see but not really see?
Yeah.
Is that that doesn't really feel exactly resolved to me.
It ain't resolved, and it gets addressed in the entirety of season 4. Really, there's Alex. He's spent 3 seasons. He has been trying to figure out who he is, whether he's a Martian, whether he's a husband and a father, whether he is a pilot, whether he is just an outsider, misfit. His identity has been chaos, and he has grabbed onto this family unit at the Rossi crew as kind of like a touchstone. But his soul and his heart is really, really kind and deep, and he can't let go of the family that he has back on Mars. And you see it in season 3, where he gets those very heartbreaking emails from his family, his child and his wife. And imagine being light years away from and getting these Dear John letters and having to deal with that. So you think it's resolved, but as human beings, you know, that kind of stuff, there hasn't been any closure yet. So it has to be worked through in season 4.
Naomi's past as well came up a bit in season 3. Will we be revisiting that, or is she just going to be moving forward from here?
We definitely delve into Naomi's past. How far? I can't really tell you, but there is definitely explorations of her past and her affiliation with the OPA.
What are you guys most excited for fans to see in season 4? What's like the moment or the episode?
Just the new tone of the show, because I think, you know, I realised I was like, oh, we're like, it's still the same Expanse, but we're really like changing this up, aren't we? Like, it's a really fresh take. I like that we're not trying to stick to a formula that we know works. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm just excited for everyone to see the kind of scope of like what we're doing in this season, and also all the new characters, and the way that they come in and affect all of the characters we know and love, but also how the world unfolds. So yeah, just everything basically.
Each of us gets to do different things than we've ever had to do before. Like Alex gets to do, he gets involved in some pretty hair-raising action sequences in this one, which typically he's piloting the ship and he's dealing with the action he gets is like space battles and stuff that involves his ship. But in this show, in this season, he actually gets to get his hands dirty and do some of the stuff that had been reserved for other members of the team to do, and I I think everybody got to dip their toe in different ponds and do different things than what has been typically their lot in the past 3 seasons. So that's fun.
I have a two-parter on that. So speaking on what you're looking forward to fan seeing, is there anything that was in the books that hasn't happened yet that you would want to happen? And how have you gone back and read the books? Because before you mentioned like you don't want to get ahead of yourself, but have you gone back now? And then is there any part you'd want fans to see that hasn't happened yet?
I dip in and out of reading the books and not reading them, and I've actually read book 1, half of book 2, and book 4. I don't know why I've made those choices, but I did, and I'm just starting book 5 actually. So I kind of dip in and out. I really love like Naomi's karaoke history. So I love karaoke, Dominique. So I would love to do a scene where like Naomi's drunk. I'd love that Naomi drunk in a bar singing some sad belter song. I would like to see that. But yeah, not really. That's probably the only thing that sticks out to me. Yeah. But
I have not finished book 5 yet. I'm similar. I go 1 book per season. I don't like to get too far ahead, just because sometimes it convolutes. But I like to read the book right before we shoot, because then I have a lot of information.
And this is us preempting that we'll do season 5. We don't know, just in case everyone's
that's
like.
the other thing, right? If I finish season 5, it's going to really be unfortunate if we don't do it. But book 5 is amazing. It's like, for me, it's one of the best books I've read so far. But there is something about Alex that has not been touched on. He's a huge fan of film noir. And that's what he does. When you guys are off doing your thing, he's watching black and white movies and noir movies and like these weird kind of Martian belter fusion dark movie things. And he's like sitting there with popcorn, and then I'm like, that would be great. Why can't we? Yeah, I want to do that, because that's such a weird anachronism. It's like his version of Amos's. I wasn't always working in space. So it's his backstory.
Just have one last question, which is your character in Amos used to be super tight, and then you had the trust broken, and you guys are kind of back to being friends. Like, what is that tension like going into the new season? I just want to know, are you back to that closeness?
I don't think we'll ever be the same as we was, and that's the true consequence of
Breaking
what Naomi done. Yeah, and I think whether it was a sacrifice she wanted to make or not, it's what's happened. And so we don't. They're never the same, but their relationship does take a change in a way. The love is still there, but it's different.